Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach back here with another reaction video. We got AFC North season preview, preseason players to watch, plus elimination stages for each team. Let's get right into it. Make sure y'all hit that sub button, turn them noties on for daily uploads. Make sure y'all follow the socials on the screen. It'd be much appreciated.
Injury situation in that quarterback room. It was actually
They're
announced
making
that
preseason debut
the
Friday
game against the Carolina Panthers on Friday. Here is the rookie quarterback on his approach this training camp.
I think every rep I get in general is valuable. You know, we definitely taking things up a notch, I would say, with everything. So every rep, you know, anytime I step on the field, I take it, you know, like it could be my last, because you don't know. There's players that we was just practicing with last week that's not here no more. So like I said, it's more about a bond. It's more about going all out. It's more about, you know, how you'll be remembered.
Yup.
Time now to welcome in CBS Sports NFL analysts John Breach and Mike Renner to talk some preseason players to watch in the AFC North. And John, I'll begin with you. We just heard from quarterback Shedeur Sanders, who is set to get the start under center for the Browns on Friday. What stands out to you about the former Colorado quarterback?
Well, when you look at Shedeur Sanders, it is absolutely sink or swim time. The Browns are throwing him into the deep end right now. He didn't get any first-team reps during OTAs, during mandatory minicamp, didn't get many snaps with the first team during training camp, and now here he is starting the game. And yes, it's by default because Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are both dealing with injuries, and Joe Flacco's too old to play in the preseason. So if you're Shedeur Sanders, this is a spot where you can prove that you belong. Yes, the Browns are going to be sitting a lot of their starters, so Shedeur Sanders is going to be throwing to the guys he's been throwing to in training camp.
Shedeur Sanders and defense tackle Mason Graham.
Can Shedeur Sanders win the starting quarterback job on Friday night? No, he cannot. But if he goes out there and goes 10 for 10, throws for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns, I think the Browns would start taking him very seriously as someone who could win the QB job. So he can go from 4th on the depth chart to, hey, maybe we should move him up, maybe give him a few more reps in that week 2 preseason game. So this is a huge game for Shedeur on Friday night.
Just got to lock in.
I'll be looking at the guy he's going to be thrown to, Deontay Johnson, one of their free agent signings. He was a guy who,
Deontay Johnson
in Carolina or
Houston
or Baltimore last year, was just a mess. I mean, a guy that you did not want in your locker room. But this is basically his last chance. And if you look at this Browns receiving room, it's not that talented. After Jerry Jeudy, he is probably the 2nd most gifted receiver on that roster. Doesn't mean he's obviously going to get playing time, but if he has his head on straight, if he is at his best here, he could easily play a factor.
Deontay is a pretty good receiver.
It's
just his attitude Jones is
interesting to watch as well. They're left tackle, and I emphasize left tackle because the guy's barely played left tackle. 176 snaps there in his career. He was a right tackle at Ohio State with Paris Johnson on the left side. So you're relying on a guy who's barely ever played there going into year 3. I'm interested to see how he holds up at that position.
I mean, he's really good last year.
AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens, they're looking to win their 3rd straight AFC North title. And John, you are showing the kickers some love. You have Tyler Loop as one of your players to watch. Why is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Baltimore has had one of the best kicking situations in the NFL for nearly 15 years. That was with Justin Tucker. Tucker is obviously gone now. The Ravens went out and drafted a kicker for the first time in franchise history, and that was Tyler Loop. So when you were trying to replace someone who was best in the NFL at their job, best in recent NFL history at their job,
big shoes to fill.
Pressure on you. But so far through training camp, Tyler Loop has lived up to that pressure. He's lived up to the hype. He's making most of his kicks. He's drilling long-range field goals, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're the Baltimore Ravens. So now the question is, can he do this in actual games? Because there's just no way to simulate that type of pressure for a kicker. He'll face some in the preseason and face even more in the regular season. So I will be the guy charting Tyler Loop's kicks when they're in the preseason against the Colts on Thursday.
Okay.
Breach cannot say I'm surprised that you went with the kicker, but I agree. Tyler Loop, it's going to be impactful to their success. They could rely on that. For years, it seemed like it didn't matter. You know, if the game was tight, they knew Justin Tucker was going to make it. Not necessarily the case anymore, but I'm going to go the defense side of the ball. I'm going to go Trenton Simpson, the linebacker. If you just go up and down this roster, he is probably just on paper the weakest link, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. This is a guy, when he came out of Clemson, pretty much everyone had the exact same eval on him. It was, yeah, he's a freak athlete. Yeah, he has all the tools, but just he has no clue how to play the linebacker position. Well, last year, his second year in the NFL, he became a starter, and you saw some flashes of him start to learn how to play the linebacker position. And obviously, this defense that obviously started with Mike
Ravens
McDonald,
defense.
now, how it's evolved.
I mean, it's
since
scary,
then.
but
3
when
years
y'all play
into
us,
it, I
though,
think he should be up to speed. And this weak
on,
link
it's easy.
could have a Patrick Queen-esque jump.
I mean, on paper,
forward
the Ravens
and become one of
defense
the better
is good,
linebackers
but like,
in the NFL, and that would turn this
y'all
defense
just
into
can't,
one of the best
fuck
defenses
with us.
Let's now transition to the Steelers.
Yeah,
Running
Trenton
back Caleb
Simpson,
Johnson
okay.
was selected by
I could see
Pittsburgh
it.
in the third round of the 2025 draft out of the University of
So now
Iowa.
we got the
John, why
Steelers.
should Pittsburgh fans be keeping their eyes on him?
Yeah, well, when the Steelers let Najee Harris go, it's pretty clear
Running
they're
back
going to revamp
Caleb
that
Johnson.
running back room. That's what they have done. Kenneth Gainwell, Trey Sermon in there now. And they drafted Caleb Johnson. Now, let's not forget, yes, Aaron Rodgers could end up being a good quarterback this year, but he's learning a new offense. So if you want him to have a smooth transition into that offense, you want to have a solid rushing attack behind him that can take some pressure off of Rodgers. And so that's where Caleb Johnson comes in. The man is a human bowling ball, so he can kind of go in there. He's been very good in training camp by all accounts. And yes, the Steelers do have Jaylen Warren, but his body's not really built to be carrying the ball 20, 25 times a game. It feels like the Steelers are going to have a running back room by committee. Caleb Johnson has been strong in training camp. If he plays even better in the preseason, this could be a guy who is getting most of the snaps at running back as we get further into the regular season eventually.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go with the guy blocking for him in Troy Fautanu, their right
Troy
tackle this
Fautanu.
year. He was supposed to be the right tackle last year, but week 2,
And
obviously
Joey
suffered a
Porter
season-ending injury, only played 55 snaps all
Yeah,
of last
Fautanu,
season.
it would be interesting
he was
to
the
see
first-round
him.
pick a year ago, but for the similar reasons I mentioned Dwan Jones, this guy was a left tackle at Washington. Barely played as a rookie. This is his first experience really getting at right tackle with Broderick Jones over there on the left side. These are 2 first-rounders. The potential for them is off the charts, but with Troy Fautanu, you just don't know how a guy's going to adjust to flipping sides, so that's why I'll be watching him closely this preseason.
And lastly, the Cincinnati Bengals, they're looking to get back in the playoffs after missing the postseason the last
They
2
best
seasons.
for
Who are
last.
some players that fans should keep their eyes on that could really help this team get back to their winning ways?
Yeah, I've been down at a couple training camp practices over the past couple weeks. I'm going to give you 2 names. Let's go with Taj Brooks on offense.
Tajay Brooks
and he could
Diaz
surprise some people.
Shimmer
When you look
Stu.
at what he did in college last season, there were only 2
AKA
college
Money
running
Moore.
backs at FBS who started at least 10 games and rushed for 100 yards in every single one of those games. That's Ashton Jeanty. Everyone knows that name because he went in the top 10 to the Raiders. And Taj Brooks. So Taj Brooks was playing at a Jeanty level at Texas Tech where he went for over 1,500 yards during each of his final 2 seasons at the school. He has
see what he
been
can do in the
drawing
preseason.
rave
That'll be
reviews
interesting.
from the coaching
Same
staff
with Shamar Stewart.
during training camp. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He's 5'9", built like a rock. So I'm anxious to see what he can do Thursday night against the Eagles. And then defensively, this is an easy one. It's Shamar Stewart. It seems like all we heard was negative headlines about him from May until late July. He missed the first 3 practices at training camp, but suddenly it's become no news is good news. We haven't heard much about him, and that's because he's been putting his head down in the dirt and looking good. The Bengals drafted him. He was a raw talent, but they liked his versatility, and he has been showing that in training camp. I think the Bengals coaching staff is pretty excited about what they've seen so far from him, but we'll have to see if that translates in the preseason games, and he'll get a tough matchup on Thursday against the Eagles.
Yeah, it'd be pretty tough.
Yeah, it's nice to see him just play football at all at this point after this summer. But I'm going to go with DJ Turner, their cornerback,
DJ
their former
Turner!
second-rounder, because he should be the antidote for this team to upset the Ravens in the AFC North. He has the ability to go mano
He's
a
really
mano
quick.
against the likes of Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, these undersized but high-end separators. DJ Turner with his 4.26 speed, he should be the guy that can lock down one of those guys. But can he play more physically? Because he gets pushed around at only 180 pounds. And oh, by the way, you got DK Metcalf now in your division who's got 50 pounds on him. I just want to see how he looks out there because he should be, on paper at least, like going into year 3, this guy should be their best cornerback. But unfortunately, the results have been so up and down to this point in his career.
Yeah, but
John and Mike,
he's still
thank you
young.
both
There's
so
still
much for your
time.
time and your insight, and we We'll certainly keep our eyes on those players. Thanks again. We appreciate it. Here's a look at the upcoming AFC North preseason
Ravens,
games.
Colts,
You've got the Ravens
Bengals,
taking on the Colts
Eagles,
on
Browns,
Thursday.
Panthers,
Bengals and
Steelers,
Eagles
Jags.
also tomorrow. Browns at the Panthers on Friday, and the Steelers taking on the Jaguars on Saturday. Coming up, we continue on the topic of the AFC North, and we predict how each teams will fare. Stay with us right here on HQ Spotlight.
Okay, bet.
Welcome back to HQ Spotlight. Here is a look at the odds to win the AFC North. The Ravens are the favorite, followed by the
Ravens
Bengals,
ain't winning it.
Steelers,
It's Big
and
Who Day.
Cleveland Browns. Time now to welcome in Mackenzie Brooks, who is here in studio with us, and Emery Hunt to break this all down for us. We are talking the stage of elimination for predicting each team's season in the AFC North. Mackenzie, the Ravens have some pretty good odds in their favor this season. Where do you see their season ending?
Here's the problem. The hump is always going to be the AFC Championship for them. And showing up in the big game, they'll annihilate everyone before, and I think they'd annihilate anyone after. So if it's not losing the AFC Championship, I think they win the Super Bowl. We give them a really solid shot here, around 18%, which is even higher than what oddsmakers are anticipating here. They have all the right things. You've heard, all of the media talking about it as well. They don't have a lot of flashy names on defense or edge rusher, and I think that's sometimes why people like to doink them, but they have double-digit sack guys, and they have a lot of improvements in the secondary as well. So I think just because, you don't have these big names, sometimes people don't want to believe in them, but I think they have everything to do it this year.
Yeah, I love the fact that they went out and got better on defense. They doubled down on their strength. They made their strength even stronger. And when you talk about bringing in Jair Alexander to go along with Nate Wiggins,
but Jair is injury prone.
You draft Mike Green from the Sun Best Conference out of Marshall, who's going to provide that sack pressure to close out games, which is what they lacked last year against Buffalo. And then, oh, by the way, on offense, they're still one of the best teams in football, regardless of division or conference. So, listen, I was a fairly athletic guy in my youth. I will hopscotch all over those odds into the Super Bowl and have these guys win the whole thing, because that's how talented they are on both sides of the ball. They are the AFC's version of the Philadelphia Eagles.
No.
Now, Mackenzie, as we transition to the Steelers, odds makers are betting on them to miss the playoffs.
Steelers.
Your thoughts?
Well, it's probably the most likely, but I think losing the wild card at plus 350 is a better value play here. I think they can get to the playoffs. This is a Mike Tomlin team.
Yeah, I think the
capable of winning
Steelers
10 games just about every single season ever.
I think they'll make
the problem
playoffs
is once
this year,
they get
they're
to
gonna
the
be a
playoffs,
first-round exit,
I think
though.
you need Aaron Rodgers to be able to use his legs, which maybe a few years ago
like
he
I've said,
but I just think once they get to the big
they have a
stage,
week 5
that's where
bye
they're going
week.
to run into trouble here. So
Long season
again,
after
9
that,
to 10 win team.
and you
They
got
keep spending
Aaron
on
Rodgers
the
at
defense, which was
quarterback.
already good.
Can you
like
keep
that's
him
not
healthy?
the problem that's really going on here. So I think plus
That's my
350
question.
to make the playoffs and then lose.
But I
is the
agree
best
with
play.
this losing wild card.
I'm going to have these guys missing the postseason. The only number and statistic and bet I care about with regards to Pittsburgh is Mike Tomlin having another winning season, which I believe he will have. The only issue I have with this team going to the postseason is that everyone in the AFC got significantly better.
That's
and
facts.
I honestly believe there's only going to be one team out of the AFC North that gets to the postseason. So I will take the juice and lay the 165 with these guys missing the postseason.
Emery,
Winning
okay,
record
with a little
for
bold
sure,
take.
but postseason just on the outside looking in.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
as
I
for
think
the
they'll make
Bengals,
it.
they missed the playoffs last season. However, they are favored to make the postseason this year. What do you think, Mackenzie? Do you agree with that?
We're going to the bowl.
There
Come
are
on.
two teams in the NFL that I'm willing to make future plays on based off
We're going to the bowl. Come on.
injury that I think is bound to happen. The Bengals being one of them with Joe Burrow. Like, it's just when you get plus money for this team to miss the playoffs, I don't know how you don't take it. I mean, they didn't fix any of their holes. I mean, you have the top sack leader and you're
All right, this girl does not know ball. We didn't fix any of our issues. What are you talking about? What?
your defense is still abysmal. Like, it's
Still abysmal. What are you talking about? It's a young defense. Why? Like, what are you talking about? Our secondary is going to be improved this year. We got Shamar Stewart on that DN now, defensive line, and hopefully we get a deal done with Trey. Linebacker core is good. What is she talking about? It's still abysmal. You tripping.
We give them a 58% chance to miss the playoffs in the Sportsline model. Like, I think you should be paying juice for this. It's like they just
Miss
can't
the
protect their
playoffs?
business, no matter how much talent they have on paper. All they can do, they
Mackenzie,
don't have a
come
great
on.
run game. Literally, all they're
Come
doing is
on.
relying on him to stay in the pocket
We're not
and
missing
throw
the
to the guys they
playoffs
spent $8
again.
gajillion on.
No.
But it's like this one-dimensional game plan that I don't think will get you to the postseason.
It's not a one-dimensional game. It was last season. Yes, it was. The offense had to do everything. The defense couldn't do none. We have a new defensive coordinator, Al Golden. It's going to be different.
I was fascinated about the Bengals, and I didn't realize this was a thing until I saw it numerous times, is the fact that whenever Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are healthy for the full season, Joe Burrow doesn't make the postseason. That's just bonkers to think about.
Yeah, that's
but when you
weird.
look at why they don't make the postseason, Mackenzie
Emery,
touched on it
come
a little
on,
bit.
bro.
It's about their run game. They don't lean on their run game to close out games. They're still utilizing Joe Burrow's arm to close.
What do you mean we don't utilize the run games to close games out? Yeah, that's because you had Joe Burrow back there, bro. Maybe it'll be different this year. I hope it is, because I think Chase Brown could be top 5 in the league. I'm not going to lie to you, but, bro, you got us both missing the playoffs. Get the fuck out of my face.
Close out ball games, which we know when you throw the football, it kind of keeps both teams in, because 3 things can happen. 2 of them are bad anyway. So they have to get better at closing out ball games with their run game. And on defense, if you don't have Hendrickson out there happy, paid, ready to go,
I agree that.
now you're
I agree
still
with that.
fighting defensively with one hand tied behind your back. So you got to get everybody
Yeah,
out
if we
there
don't
to
have
play
Troy
their
out there,
best
yeah,
game,
we
'cause
might be
yes,
screwed.
we know they
Yeah,
can score 30.
sure.
But if you're finding yourself in shootout Saturday and Sunday every week, then it's going to be a problem. And because
Yeah,
of
it's gonna
all
be the
of
same
those
as last
reasons,
season.
and I expect the Ravens to really be strong this year once again, I'll take the value of these guys missing the postseason.
That's crazy, though. We're not missing the playoffs.
The Cleveland Browns.
The
we
Bengals
talked
ain't
earlier
crazy.
on the show about the injuries in
The
that
Cleveland
quarterback
Browns?
room. It's not looking too good. But Mackenzie,
I mean,
is
they're
there
not
hope
making the playoffs
Browns
at
fans?
all. They're be lucky to win
they
5
take the
games.
saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, to an extreme with about 5 of them. So, yeah, it's looking pretty bad. The front office is a mess. The quarterback room is a mess. And you probably know you're drafting a quarterback next year as well. So to have even the situation
Yeah,
they have
probably.
is just wild.
Yeah,
to
'cause
me.
they're only gonna win,
Obviously,
like, 4 or 5
You're not going to want
games.
to pay minus 1250 for this bet. You can look at their win total is 5.5.
Yeah, the Browns
I
are
would
not
take
making
the under.
playoffs.
I think they're probably good for 3, maybe 4 wins this year in the Sportsline model. We have
Well,
them
she said 3 or
favored
4.
in
I
one
think
game
5. I
against
think
the
5.
Titans at home, and it's a coin flip, barely 52% chance to beat them. So obviously you don't want to pay that heavy price there, but I think the win total under could be a good move.
I guarantee if the Browns came out today and named Shedeur Sanders the starter for the regular season, those odds to make the playoffs would change dramatically to a short miss, as opposed to this laying the $12 billion to have these guys miss the playoffs, right? Because we don't know who's going to be quarterback, and we know who's the better quarterback in that room.
Yeah.
It makes this whole thing just kind of a farce for Cleveland in terms of how to bet this thing, especially when you look at how they are managing the offseason, how the offseason has gone for them. You don't have Quinshon Judkins out there. He's not even signed yet as a rookie, and they don't have the depth at receiver nor in the backfield just yet to where you can count on these
The
guys
running
to kind
back
of push
room,
for the top
I
of the
think
division,
is
or at least for
pretty
that 7th
good.
playoff
It's not
spot.
bad.
So for me,
But the
Browns
receiving
defense
room,
would be
you got
very
Jerry
good,
Jeudy, and
especially
that's
up
it.
front,
Tillman, that's
especially
about
at the
it.
second level with the rookie Carson Schwarzenegger.
You got Njoku.
But offensively speaking, there's too many
I don't
unknowns
know.
and
Their offense
question
is
marks
just-
for me to feel confident to even lay that
It's not
12-50
finished.
for them to
They
miss the
need
playoffs,
more.
which I expect they will.
So a little bit of optimism, kind of, from Emery. Mackenzie, not so much from you.
You know how it goes.
But
Also,
we love sports, you never know what happens.
Emery, the craziest thing about this team is, like, all they do is get guys from within the division. They can't even get creative. That's how bad this front office is. They're like, oh, yeah, we've seen Joe Flacco play. Well, yeah, we'll take him. Oh, we'll take this guy. We've played him before. Very interesting things going on in Cleveland.
We shall see how it all ends.
Yeah, the Browns are a joke. The Browns are the Browns. But I don't agree with this. I mean, we're not missing the playoffs. Joe Burrow is going to lead us to Super Bowl 60. This defense is going to shut the entire world up. We're going to be a top 15 defense this season. Chase Brown, he's going to be a top 5 running back. And this is not, I'm not lying. I'm being straight facts. What I just said is going to be facts. We're going to be middle of the pack defense. Burrow going to have an MVP season. He might win the MVP. If the NFL would give it to him. We should have won it last year, but, obviously the MVP, your team record has to be good, and our team record was not good. But, yeah, Burrow, I don't know. They steady hating on the Bengals. overrating the Ravens, thinking they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. We know Lamar Jackson, he a playoff choker, and that hasn't changed. I mean, I guess you could say last year was on Mark Andrews, which it was, but I mean, Lamar could have done more in that game, so won them that game. But I think we're gonna win the North. Yeah, I don't understand this. You got us missing the playoffs. Okay, bet. But make sure y'all follow the socials on the screen. It'd be much appreciated, and I love y'all, and I'm out. But that's gonna do it for this reaction, though. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, and I'm out. Peace.